My name is Medea Benjamin. I'm with the peace group Code Pink and the author of a book, Drone Warfare: Killing by Remote Control. And I'm pleased to be sending this message to the students of Pakistan. I heard that you are watching the movie Unmanned, and I know that it's very disturbing to see and hear the harrowing stories of people who have been innocent victims of these drone strikes. But it's so important, the work you're doing, to learn more about this issue, to educate your fellow citizens, and to put more pressure on your own government. Because let's face it, the Pakistani government says it's against drone strikes, and yet it continues to allow the U.S. to perpetrate these crimes on its soil. If the Pakistani government was serious, it would take the U.S. to court in some international venue, or bring up this issue at the United Nations, or who knows, perhaps even shoot down a drone. But it will take more pressure from your end to convince your government to make the U.S. stop violating the sovereignty of Pakistan. Here in the United States, we have our job to do. While the majority of people in Pakistan do not like the use of these killer drones, here in the U.S., they think it's a good way to fight terrorism. We have to convince Americans that, yes, we want to stop extremism, whether it's the Taliban or Al-Qaeda, but the drones are not the answer, that drones just perpetuate the cycle of violence. So it's important for us to educate Americans and put more pressure on our Congress and on the administration to stop the use of drones. But I think we're actually on a positive course in pulling together as an international community. I see that already with the protests that are happening in places like Pakistan and Yemen, where the U.S. is using these killer drones, together with the protests we're doing here in the United States, we're having an impact. We're forcing the government of President Obama to talk about a program that was previously so secret they wouldn't even talk about it. We're changing public opinion here at home, and we're forcing the administration to reduce the number of drone strikes. But that is not enough. We have to ground the killer drones. We have to stop the use of drones. We have to ensure that in a global community, what we want is more justice, where people should have the option of surrendering, where people should have the right to a fair trial, and where people will not be simply executed through a process that where the President of the United States plays the role of prosecutor, judge, jury, and executioner. So as we work together and put pressure on the U.S. government, we also have other things to do. We have to take this issue to the United Nations so that there are international regulations about the use of drones. We have to stop the proliferation worldwide of drones. I know that in Pakistan, the Pakistani government is saying, we don't want U.S. drones, we want our own drones. Well, that will not solve the problem either. So we have to, at the international level, have regulations, stop the proliferation, and we have to do this as a global community. So I applaud the interest that you have in this issue. I applaud the fact that you are concerned enough to take this on, and I think that as the years go by, if we build more and more of a movement against drones, we're actually building a movement for justice, for democracy, for the rule of law. And that's the only thing in the end that will fight extremism.